And we're back. That was a crappy. Let me try it again. That's a little better. And we're back. What's going on, everybody? Benja Welldone coming at you live on this beautiful Corona-free day. Today is Sunday, December 27th. How are you doing? So I just got back from a trip to the DC area, visiting and whatnot. That's where I moved from before I moved to the great state of Texas. I gotta tell you, I haven't ever been more thankful and appreciative to be living and making a decision to moving to Texas than I ever had compared to when I went back to DC since moving there. You know, when I was there, I didn't really have the ability, because it does not exist, to go to a restaurant, okay? Because everywhere is closed. I didn't really have the ability to do stand-up comedy, even if I wanted to, because they only have a professional platform there called the DC Improv. They don't have open mics. They don't have stuff like that. It's really anti-free speech, which is crazy because it's the metropolitan area of DC, the nation's capital, right? Also, as far as jiu-jitsu goes, between parking and traveling and everything else, I would probably spend maybe 4 hours just trying to go and spend between $500 to $600 a month. Now, you would say, oh, it's $500, $600 a month. No, it's not that. You also have to pay for parking, which could be $20 just for parking, then the gas to get there. And I'm not really nickel and diming it. That is the reality of a situation. If I'm 15 miles away from somewhere in DC, it will probably take you an hour to get there. It's not a stretch of the imagination. It's not that hard to believe. And then a lot of parking garages, if I go 4 days a week, let's just say it's $25 a night to park, that's $100 for 1 week right there. And that isn't even with gas included. It really is like that. You could say, oh, you know, how long are you gonna be there? An hour? Yeah, that's true. But there's so limited parking, now you're gonna be parking farther away. You know, you pay more money for closer parking. But all of these spots are so farther away. I mean, you probably have to park half a mile, or maybe you reserve it, which is what a lot of guys and gals do. They have a reserved parking space. They pay like $200 a month, like, just to be able to have a parking space, like. And that's just reality. That's just reality of that location. Here, 14 minutes doing jiu-jitsu. Multiple places, whether I create it, whether it's like I improvise and I make a place to actually do comedy at. If I were to be performing, making a show, there's multiple places I can do performances at on smaller showcase levels, at professional locations, at the in Fort Worth, Dallas, Addison, Plano, and that's just local. Arlington, you name it. It was awful. It really was. Not in the aspect of, you know, I moved to Texas for the purpose of being able to pursue comedy full time, which is what I'm really working on, and I'm doing it right now, actively pursuing it. But this whole Corona thing really threw a big wrench in it. But you know, I just being able to meditate back in my house in my state now. I mean, you know what? It's weird because you go to some places and you feel like maybe you've been there before, or you've always been there, but maybe you weren't there. That's how I feel like with Texas. I feel like I've always lived in Texas. It just took me a while to get here physically, because the way people's thought process are, between their hard work ethic and everything else like that, if you talk trash or disrespect Maryland or Virginia, DC, whatever, somebody's going to agree with you. It's nothing to brag about. It's not. You talk trash about Texas, you're going to get smacked in the face. Maybe not, but there's a lot of state pride here. There's a lot of state pride. And state pride isn't really something that I care about, but it is nice to be in a place that people are proud to be in, because they have a lot to be proud of. I mean, I'm not going to go on a whole list of things that's like so pro-Texas and awesome about it, but check it out. I mean, short list. They got their own oil reserves, their own electric grid. They got their own, I mean, you name it, up and down. I mean, it's just it's so above and beyond as far as I'm aware and have experienced in any other state. It just makes me really fortunate. You know, I'm extremely particular with the way I say things, and I just want to get something out. It's nothing about being privileged or fortunate, actually, or anything else like that. I forced it to happen, to move here. And anyone else that hears this, you can force it too. All right? And make it happen. Because the amount of appreciation that I have for being able to work on comedy, to work on jiu-jitsu, to really be able to meditate and relax and stretch far beyond possibilities that certain states may have limitations for you. And even something as small as even during a pandemic, something that's not associated with me at all, being able to go to a restaurant, that's definitely not happening. So I'm just, in short, I'm really thankful and appreciative more than ever to be in Texas, because it's not necessarily the state that matters. It's the fact that it's, regardless of whatever the state is called, I'm in a place that I can fully become myself, the realest, most true form of myself, which I've always worked on being. But through certain limitations of proximity and where I was, it just wasn't happening. But since I've been here, I've been able to pursue that, work on it, and I'm only moving more in that direction every single moment, increasingly, without stop. So I love you all. I wish you all the best. And this is just me saying thank you for listening. And check this place out, because it's really great and it's doing wonders for me. You know, I told someone the other day, have you ever, they said, hey, how's your trip going? I said, have you ever been in a relationship that you broke up with a girl or something like that, and for one reason or another you try to get back together with her, and then the second she says something dumb or does something dumb, or vice versa, I'm not saying it's just a girl, okay, you hit that roadblock and you realize that's exactly why you moved in the first place. That happened on multiple occasions while I was there, between the traffic and the price, and then the you name it, up and down the scale. It was like everything that I tried to do, I just kept having roadblock and roadblock after roadblock. And I realized, I had a moment of realization, many actually, when I was in traffic in DC, wanting to do comedy, wanting to work on jiu-jitsu and do all sorts of stuff that means more to me than everything. What does it even mean? More than everything. That's how much. Imagine that, and that's what it is. And I knew that by staying, if I stayed in that location, I wouldn't allow myself not to have the opportunity by staying there and not being able to pursue any of these venues, because they don't have a place to do comedy. It's too expensive to work on jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So I forced it to happen. I moved forcefully, purposely, to fulfill myself. And I feel beyond fulfilled, but my unfulfillments now lie within the possibilities that I'm always working on achieving. So in other words, you know how people say the sky's the limit? Well, I'm past that. And I really want to stretch far beyond imagination. And that's what I'm always working on doing, is getting better, working on comedy, and of course jiu-jitsu. And just, you know, even as a side note, just being able to relax. Just being able to relax to the fullest capability possible. And really just making the most of myself. And that's what I'm always working on. And that's what I'm doing every single day. So anyway, just an extra thankful thought of appreciation as far as how great it is to be here. And I wish everybody the best. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm Benja Welldone. Check me out. Peace.